Hello guys and welcome to BioShock. This may be a little bit of an oomph because I just found the museum. It was in BioShock 1 this entire time. So I'm going to take you in and hope that it doesn't kick me. BioShock 1 is notorious, the museum at least, is notorious for crashing and everything. But welcome to the Museum of Orphaned Concepts, a guided tour of ideas that Irrational Games discarded or reworked heavily during the making of the original BioShock. So, let's go in and take a look. We will see what kind of concepts they had. So over here on our right, we have different concepts. Exhibit Slow Pro Fum. Irrational's internal name for this prototype Big Daddy variant, who mauled players with an enormous hook and fired iron bearings from a barrel, stood for slow projectile fucked up melee. He survived long enough to become a fully functional AI, but the team eventually cut him to focus on polishing the other Big Daddy types. This model later appeared in BioShock 2 as the Rumbler, throwing miniature turrets instead of cannonballs. And it is true, we saw him in BioShock 2. As you can see some of the artwork back there. But this is our Rumbler from BioShock 2 that would have been in BioShock 1. We got this guy here. Look at that. That's kind of scary. Early Bouncer. This original model for the Bouncer type of Big Daddy featured a flat-headed drill at the end of each arm. The Big Daddies were envisioned as the builders of Rapture, with weapons modified from tools they would have used in its construction. When the Gatherers were reimagined as little sisters, one of the Bouncer's drills was changed to a gloved hand so that the two characters could interact with each other. That would have been horrible to have something like this. I mean, look at that thing. That is horrid. Ooh. Oh, hanging sea life. Not as much as a cut concept as an Easter egg for observant museum visitors. These sea creatures can be seen swimming past the player's view during the bathysphere ride down to Rapture in BioShock's opening sequence. And it is so very true. Especially this whale. If you could catch the whale in the gameplay, that would be awesome. Whoa. Is that... Come on. Forest concept art. Irrational's artist tried to envision how an underwater city would have actually functioned in this early conceptual work of Rapture. One idea imagined a thick forest for the purpose of oxygen exchange, seen here with an observant catwalk running around the edge. The concept of using trees for oxygen exchange made it into the final game in the Arcadia level. Yes, it did. Though it didn't quite look like this. I think their final concept was definitely much, much better. And over here, I believe this is these are the Gatherers. Early conceptualized Gatherers. It may be hard to imagine that this creature, whose job it was to reclaim Adam from corpses around Rapture, was the earliest iteration of the idea behind the Little Sister. Since the Gatherer generated absolutely no sympathy from players, the team experimented with concepts for featuring a number of animals, including the infamous dog in a wheelchair, and later a grotesque miniature humanoid. Finally, a concept sketch of a deformed child inspired the eureka moment responsible for the Little Sisters. So this would have taken place of our Little Sisters if this was the final form. Because Oh my god, could you imagine this instead of a little girl? Oh my god, that's... Ugh. It doesn't have the best proportions. Let's keep it clean, people. Keep it clean. Oh, there's so much to look at. The sea life up ahead. It's a giant-ass thing right there. Bones. Wow, that's awesome. These are early Big Daddy concepts. Sorry. These are early concepts of the Rosie type of Big Daddy, who, like the bouncer, was envisioned as a construction worker who had been repurposed as a protector for the gatherers. Oh, interesting. I'm guessing they just say the same thing. Yeah. To think this was a Rosie... Hold on. Oh, this is an early splicer concept art. Okay, moving from grotesque to human was a slow process. While early concepts saw the melee enemies grew monstrous arms, the team had trouble conveying how someone who had spliced to become a marksman would appear. Oh, look at these. I don't know, that would have been pretty cool looking like that. That would terrify me if that came near me. The early concepts of Rosie... I mean, it wasn't too different from the final concept art. Oh, what's over here? What's this guy? Oh, dude. Where'd your toes go? Your intestines are like growing out of your hip. Oh. Stitchy! Stitchy! The first splicer that Irrational created for BioShock, Stitchy was used in many early concept demos and was fully functional in-game with kinematics, hit reactions, and voiceover. It took us that long to realize he wasn't a good model, says lead artist Sean Robertson. This is probably the worst abortion that Irrational has ever made. Oh my god. It's a mangled aggressor. Oh, that would have... That's like something right out of Silent Hill or... Resident Evil. Oh, and he's got a gun. What's this? So this is an early splicer concept art. Huh. Ooh, what are you? Oh, that's interesting. It looks like they, you know, with the hair, they kind of went almost like dreadlock stringy, it looks like. Kind of like they were, tubes coming out of its head, rather than actual strands of hair. Irradiate them. Oh my god. This is the pre-yam hand. Pre-yam hand? Before solidifying the fiction around Adam, Irrational experimented with the idea of it being an external injected substance. Here you can see us playing around with Adam being mechanically injected, said lead artist Sean Robertson. So this splicer's got vials of it on his belt. This model was created but never made it into the game in any form. Kinda sad, because if they could have, you know, not so much redone it, but refined it and smoothed out the edges. That would have been a really cool photo to just fight. Could you imagine just a splicer constantly splicing up while you're fighting them? Oh, that would be so cool. Ooh. We'll do a whole... Oh, I guess we're going to the other side now. And then we'll climb up. Over here. Grenadier Splicer. This gray elephantine splicer was an early Grenadier from the same period of development as Stitchy and Hooker. Stitchy and Hooker. He was a guy who spliced to carry around giant grenades and throw them at you, says lead artist Sean Robertson. The model was built and textured but never animated. Oh, they need to put him in a different game. That would have been cool. I mean, look at these concept photos. Come on, guys, you gotta tell me these guys should have made it into the game at least, or at least another game created. These creatures are amazing. It's so sad. What's this? It's an environmental study, an early one. The location depicted was built for the Vision demo of BioShock, a small level demonstrating several of the key elements of the game, such as the Big Daddies and Gatherers. Oh, I see. Interesting. And over here we got this one. Neptune's Bounty concept art. This area appears in the Neptune's Bounty level of BioShock, but the bodies floating in the ocean were cut late in development when their cast shadows proved too distracting from the action in the room. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see how those would get rather distracting. People would want to look more at that than the actual game itself into the action. Who are you? Oh, this is Hooker. Created around the same time as Stitchy and the Grenadier, this splicer was dubbed the Hooker because of her weapon of choice. Oh, it's a she! This concept evolved into the Spider Splicer, okay, when it was decided that splicer models could fill any behavior role, and the Hooker model later became the Baby Jane Splicer. Oh... Okay. Oh. Hooks on your feet and your hands. I guess that's how you moved? Got a badonkadunk on you. Sorry, guys. She's thick. They made her thick. Tiny-waisted and thick. This looks like something straight out of Hellraiser, not BioShock. Oh my god. If I saw this coming out, especially if the design went more off of that one. Oh, this is like Hellraiser stuff right here. Ooh. Me no likey. There's more Big Daddy stuff. What in the hell is that? Protector concept art. The Big Daddies, originally called Protectors, were envisioned as dive-suited construction workers retasked with the defense of atom gatherers. They used construction tools or improvised weapons that looked like they had been found on the sea floor. From left to right are early concepts for the melee ranged and slow projectile protectors. Oh, okay. Interesting. I love going through here and just seeing all of this. It's absolutely brilliant. As an artist myself, oh my gosh, that's cool. See, using the hook like that, that's a brilliant idea. I mean, not necessarily good for this game, because something along the lines of this concept art, I just don't feel fits the BioShock theme. Now, these two right here, this one's kind of very messy and overdid it. Tentacles. But this one right here, it looks like you're using an altered rivet gun there. That would be more towards what we're looking at now. Up we go. Ooh. Is this about... Whoa, Big Daddy. I just now realized that. Come on. Okay, so this is still Big Daddy concept art. This is an early concept depicting a Big Daddy bursting through a wall, which inspired the audio log in the Big Daddy training grounds area about a rogue Big Daddy. The player then encountered him at the end of the level. Oh, I know what they're talking about. There's a Big Daddy that bursts through the wall. You're walking with the little sister at the end of, BioShock 1. But you're walking through as a Big Daddy yourself while gathering Adam in the training grounds with your little sister. And the last place you come to, the Big Daddy bursts through the wall. You have to fight the Big Daddy. And it was a brilliant encounter. I mean, for first-time players, if you're not expecting it, it will make you jump. So, this one right here, I mean, absolutely brilliant. This the early concept for the bathyspheres? Actually, I think there were some like that in Infinite. Sub-Bay concept art. This is a concept sketch depicting what would later become Submarine Bay, an area which housed an important scene for Atlas. Oh, okay, so for those who have watched my series, this is where the scene with Atlas when when we were saving his quote unquote family. And it didn't exactly happen that way. So when all the splicers attack, this is what became of Submarine Bay. But I prefer the finished Submarine Bay that they have now compared to the concept art that they have right here, because this seems too much for Rapture. Just too much for Rapture. But when they toned it down for the final product, I think that's what really made it. Because this doesn't look grungy enough for what Rapture has become, for what is left of Rapture, for some of the areas in Rapture, and the time period as well. So, as great as this looks, it could have been used for another game. But, actually, I think something very similar to this is used in BioShock Infinite. I swear, in one of the DLCs. You'll see later on. But concept art, brilliant. Final display of it in game, just as brilliant. Looks like these are going to be the last ones going around. What are you? Oh, look at this. Missing link model. Okay, this character is essentially the missing link between the grotesque early designs and the human splicers that appeared in BioShock. This is the last bad model we did before moving on to what actually went into the shipping game, says lead artist Sean Robertson. After playing with him for a while, we just said, why don't we use humans instead? I always thought of these as Scooby-Doo monsters because they were too inhuman to invoke empathy. Oh, so this is what caused them to become more human-like. So rather than going monster Scooby-Doo growl rawr, I eat your face off, they went wholeheartedly human, and this is pretty much the final one that they played around with before, you know, smoothing out the rough edges and making the final concept. But look at all these details. What are you? Slime from slug? Ugh. Blood on inside of glass ports? Tarnished breast? What? It's an early Big Daddy concept art. It was the fourth protector concept, originally created with an organic slug attached to it. A model was started but never completed as the team narrowed their focus to 3 and finally just 2 Big Daddy types. I still like this as a protector, says artist Rob Waters. We started modeling and I really pushed to get it in, even as just a static model on the floor, but it never made it. I don't know, that it doesn't feel right as a Big Daddy. It feels out of place. Like, really out of place. No, I'm kind of curious about this one. Actually, I'm kind of curious about the next couple of ones. What the hell is this thing? Let's see. Early creature concepts. These were some of the earliest pieces done for BioShock from back when Irrational was still working on SWAT 4. The only concrete ideas at that point were an undersea city and biological experimentation. So early concepts focused on those themes. Oh, so this was just an early biological creature thing. Oh my god. I didn't even see that. Iconic Rapture concepts. This was one of several paintings that tried to portray the most important elements of Rapture at once. These images would help define in the ruined underwater Art Deco aesthetic that the team was attempting to capture. Oh, okay. So they just tried to throw everything that they wanted into one photo so that they could take the pieces, I guess, and make finished concept art, work on the world itself. As you can see, it's absolutely amazing what they've done, even in this museum of orphaned concepts. Though that creature's creepy, they should add it to somewhere else. These two I feel like I've seen in other games. If any of you have seen something like this in another game, please let me know. This really gonna boggle my mind. What are you? Okay, so it just says the same thing. But these two right here, especially this one, I feel like that's like a combination of the frog monster and in Resident Evil 2 remake and some other creature that I've seen before. I don't know. This one, it's something out of a nightmare. But this, I wonder if they've used any of this concept art in other games. I really gotta look into that. Just a few more things to go, guys. This guy is a fish monster? He looks like a fish. Actually, I think that's a bag on his head. Is that a bag? Yeah, it's a bag. See, things like this would have been really cool, but I think it's kind of traipsing into the Hellraiser theme of stuff. Fishy version. This is another Yam Hand model. This character, derisively called Yam Hand around Irrational Games, was the poster child of the conceptual phase that preceded the decision to go with human enemies. I'd point out the drawings behind the model, says lead artist Sean Robertson. You can see the top one got built, but the other two informed the design as well. As we trended more toward humanoids, the Scooby monsters got goofier and less scary. Yeah, this one kind of got a bit goofy. It kind of looks like a fish. A fish with a big hand. Oh, look, is he tied to his? Oh, that must be his sleeve. Look at the little details. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, now this one looks like something out of Resident Evil as well. Actually, that one looks like it came from the Resident Evil movie itself, when Dr. Isaacs tried to end Alice's life. I believe it was either the second or third movie. I think it was the third one, though. Because when he had the tentacles. Yeah, I think it's the third one. So. Whoa. That looks like the original main location we come in at. This really captured Rapture, all the visual elements that made BioShock. A large view of the ocean, the aquatic lighting scene, and the elegant Art Deco design elements. Without this image, BioShock would have been a radically different beast. It probably could have. This is amazing. I love the artwork. The tones of the greens and the yellows, the blacks. All the shadows in there that and different hiding places, I mean, if you look, there are so many different places that a splicer could get behind, and you could just be walking by and never know they're there until you turn the corner and you're face to face with them. And then you insert the minor jump scare. I mean, it was brilliant what they did. It's so detailed. I mean, like I said, if you look at this game, just the design of the museum itself, it's so detailed right down to the... look at this. It is amazing. I'm probably going to say that a lot. What's this? This is early concept for Sander Cohen's Fleet Hall. It's created after level building had begun, when the designers found they were having difficulty conceptualizing the theater space. It was one of the earliest spaces built for BioShock, and many of the assets used in this museum come from that area. I've noticed that. Because if you see, it's got the domed roof and everything, and then it's also got the domed roof here, the gold filigree on the walls, the stone walls. It all matches kind of what they were going with Sander Cohen's Fleet Hall. Oh, this is the... Okay, I know where this is. Back when we were fighting Sander Cohen, I don't know who all have actually watched BioShock 1, but I highly recommend going back. But this is when we were with Sander Cohen, and we had to gather up his paintings or his artwork, his pictures. We had to take pictures of his enemies after we killed them. But one of them was right there on the stage itself in front of a whole bunch of goopy people. And so this was one of the first places that we actually met Sander Cohen until we had to fight him at the end. He was kind of the invisible antagonist that you didn't see, that you were aiding regardless of not wanting to. So, and then at the end, he makes his grand entrance down the stairs, not these stairs, but another set of stairs, and goes into a fight with him. And so, and he has the abilities of a Houdini splicer, and it's a pain in the butt. But these are a lot of the concept art and everything that were sadly discarded, not used. Some of them, you know, like these paintings, this wasn't exactly used as is, but the concept of it became a recording. Yeah, an audio log. It became an audio log, and eventually it became kind of like a mini boss in the game. And so it's just amazing to see what Irrational Games came up with. And you know, what could have been, what did become. Because if we go down here back to where was it? I think it's up here. Yeah, right here. Because this one, even though it didn't make it into the first game, it did make it into the second game as a refined Big Daddy that you actually had to fight. I mean, they're a pain in the ass, but I loved fighting them every chance they popped up. So, and this one over here, this looks like the typical Big Daddy, but you see they don't have both arms in the final game. Like they said, they took one off, and I believe eventually they turned this little section, this rounded section, into the pointy drill that we use. I mean, I love the designs of the Big Daddy. It shows, you know, with the suit and everything, how heavy it is by the way they're somewhat hunched over. You know, their movements are slow at first. I think it's this air tank that might actually aid in, you know, boosting their speed. I mean, they've each got different types of air tanks. But this is your basic Big Daddy here. And the fact that these suits are supposed to be, like, grafted onto their skin in some way. I mean, there was a audio log, I believe, in the first game that explained it. We might tap into it to some degree in BioShock Infinite. I'm not sure if it's in the main game or if it was in a DLC that we'd eventually get to. But yeah, just you gotta take a moment and just appreciate the artwork, the hard work that everyone at Irrational Games put together. I mean, not only that, but they didn't have to go and put together this magnificent little museum of all their concepts that they didn't use. I mean, they've got conceptual art, they've got actual models. This right here would have been a really cool model to go up against. He's a ranged aggressor, mostly due to the fact I can see, you know, he's got this weapon. He doesn't look very fast, but he looks like he could pack a punch. So, and then you got this guy. Holy hell. Seeing that come at you would just give you nightmares. But everything, I mean, it's so well detailed. This is what I used to wish that I wanted to do. Work on games like this, make the artwork, let someone else refine the idea, and work together just to make amazing things like this. But now I go in and I do all my refining in my writing. But let's not get off topic. So anyways, with that being said, that's our little treat around the museum. What was your favorite piece of concept art? Do let me know down in the comments. What did you think of it all? Your opinions on what they used, what they didn't use. Any monsters you thought that maybe should have been in the game. Maybe any of the big daddies. I mean, let me know your opinion, because seeing all of this, I mean, what would your opinion be on actually seeing some of these in maybe future games, you know, more refined and everything? But yeah, just give me your opinion. I can't believe this was about to become a little sister. That's what they were going to make the little sister. Oh my gosh. But yeah. So, but this was Museum of Orphaned Concepts. Sorry this didn't come out with BioShock 1. I really thought it was BioShock 2 that this was in. But nope. It was BioShock. Anyways, do like and subscribe and comment down below your opinions. I'd really love to hear them. And until the next video, I will see you guys later. Bye!